You are all standing today before God your God, the leaders of your tribes, your elders and your sheriffs, and every Israelite man, your young children, your womenfolk, and your converts who are in your camp, from your woodcutter to your water drawer, in order to perform a ritual by which you will enter into a covenant with God your God, and to take his oath, to uphold it, which God your God is making with you today, in order to establish you today as his people, so that he can be your God for all time, as he spoke concerning you, and as he swore to your forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I am not making this covenant and administering this oath on God's behalf solely with you, but with those standing here with us today before God our God, and with those who are not here with us today. For you know how we dwelt in Egypt, and how we passed through the territories of the nations that you encountered on our way to the land of Israel. You saw their loathsome and repugnant idols of wood and stone, and those of silver and gold, which they hid with them. Perhaps there is among you a man, woman, family, or tribe, whose heart is straying today from being bound to God, our God, and will induce you to go and worship the deities of those nations. Perhaps there is among you, figuratively speaking, a root that produces poison, hemlock, and bitter wormwood. When he hears the words of this oath, he may bless himself in his heart, saying, I will enjoy peace of mind, even if I follow my heart's illusions. As a result, God will add the punishment for his drunk and unintentional sins to the punishment for his thirsty intentional sins. God will not be willing to forgive him, for God's fury and his zeal will then fume against that man. The entire curse written in this scroll will come down upon him, and God will obliterate his name from under heaven, from the whole world. God will single him out for evil from among all the tribes of Israel, punishing him in accordance with all the curses of the covenant written in this Torah scroll. A later generation made up of your descendants, who will arise after you, along with the foreigner who comes from a distant land, will say, upon seeing the plagues of that land and the diseases with which God struck it, everything is sulfur and salt. This nation's entire land is burned up. It cannot be sown, nor can it grow anything. Not even any grass will sprout from it. It is similar to how God overturned Sodom, Gomorrah, and Admah, and Zeboim in his fury and his rage. All the other nations will say, why did God do this to the land? What is the reason for this great furious rage? They will say, it is because the Jews forsook the covenant of God, our God of their forefathers, which he made with them when he took them out of Egypt. For they went and served other people's deities, prostrating themselves to them, deities that they had never known, and that he had not assigned to them. God's fury raged against that land, bringing upon it the entire curse written in this book. God uprooted them from their land with fury, wrath, and fuming indignation, and he cast them to another land, leaving them just as they are on this day. The hidden sins are for God our God to punish, not the revealed sins are forever for us and for our children to punish, to ensure we fulfill all the words of this Torah. When all these things come upon the blessing and the curse that I have set before you, I promise that you will consider them in your heart as you reside amidst all the nations to which God your God has banished you. And you will be inspired to return to God your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and you will once again heed his voice in accordance with all that I am commanding you today, you and your children. Then God your God will bring back your exiles and have mercy upon you. He will once again gather you from among all the nations to which God your God has dispersed you. Even if some of your exiles are in countries at the end of the heavens, God your God will gather you from there, and it will take you back from there. God your God will bring you to the land that your forefathers took possession of, and you too will take possession of it. He will be better to you than he was to your forefathers, and he will also make you more numerous than your forefathers were. God your God will figuratively circumcise your heart as well as the heart of your offspring, enabling you to love God your God with all your heart, with all your soul, for the sake of your very life. God your God will place all these curses upon your enemies and those who hate you, who pursued you. You will return to obeying God and fulfilling all his commandments that I am commanding you today. God your God will grant you superabundance in all that you do, in the fruit of your womb, in the fruit of your domestic animals, and in the fruit of your soil, all in good ways. For God will once again rejoice over you, rejoicing to do good to you as he rejoiced over your forefathers. When you obey God your God, safeguarding his commandments and his rules written in this Torah scroll, by studying them assiduously, and when you return to God your God with all your heart and with all your soul. For this commandment about which I am commanding you today is not remote from you, it is not far away, it is not in heaven, that you should say, who will go up to the heaven for us and fetch it for us to expound it to us so that we can fulfill it. It is not beyond the sea, that you should say, who will cross to the other side of the sea for us and fetch it for us to expound it to us so that we can fulfill it. Rather, the thing is very close to us, in your mouth, in your heart, so you can fulfill it. Behold, I have set before you today life and good on the one hand, and death and evil on the other hand. Inasmuch as I command you today to love God your God, to walk in his ways, and to safeguard his commandments, rules, and ordinances, so that you will live and increase in the number, and God your God will bless you in the land that you are entering in order to possess. But if your heart deviates from his path, and you do not listen, and you are drawn astray, prostrating yourself to another people's deities, and serving them, I declare to you this day that you will certainly perish. You will not endure in the land that you are crossing the Jordan River in order to enter, to possess. I invoke heaven and earth today as witness for you. I have set before you life and death, the blessing and the curse. You should choose life in order that you and your offspring will live. To love God your God, to obey him and to cleave to him, for he is your source of life and the source of your length of days, and he enables you to dwell in the land that God swore to your forefathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and that he would give them.